Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
Hello, it's the Frank Skinner Absolute Radio podcast, and I'm with Emily and Gareth.
Hello.
And the show for us is over. For you, has yet to begin. And the guest was Charlotte Hatherley.
Oh, I loved her.
Oh, I got her name wrong there. Hatherley. Yeah, she was lovely. And
can she be my friend, or does that sound a bit weird? If I ask like that?
She's a pop star, so I don't know if she's going to want to hang around with, any old soak. So, but yeah, she was great. The show, I think that there are some people who like the show because sometimes it's chaotic and seems to be like the screaming one might hear from the home of someone in terrible mental anguish. You know Jane Eyre, he kept his wife locked in there.
Oh, yeah.
I feel if she'd have had a microphone in her room, that's what the show... So it sounded like that.
Some people like it when it's like that. That's what it was. They would have loved
They
the
like
show
it.
this week,
I
wouldn't
personally felt like, when you're a child and you run down a very steep hill and you thought this felt like a good idea at the beginning, but I simply can't stop now. I'm out of control. I don't want to fall, so I have to just move my legs as fast as I can and see what happens. That's how it was. But yeah, it was exciting in that respect.
I loved it though, and also your manager came in, and that made me happy.
Well, he came in, I think. He got an emergency cab because he thought I was hysterical. When I say hysterical, I mean with a small h. And he came in to slap me across the face, and that I felt helped. I don't think he's slapped me across the face since I hosted the Brits. Anyway, enjoy
Absolute
Radio.
Oh yeah, the World Cup. So, you may have heard that me and David Baddiel are going to... I say me and David Baddiel. I'm now having to promote my own radio show, so I had to do a link where I said, the World Cup podcast. And I thought I'd better put Dave first, otherwise he'll be on the phone saying, don't switch the bill in at this late stage. So, yeah. Oh, by the way, this is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. I haven't even done that bit. I'm with Emily and Gareth.
Good morning.
I'm all over the place.
Yeah, you're with Emily and Gareth, but it's going to be David Baddiel this, David Baddiel that.
Yes, that is true. I don't know, maybe I won't mention it again. I feel it's all over the station like some terrible rash already. I'm already sick of it. Oh, to hell with the World Cup. Now, I did watch the draw yesterday. Did you watch the draw?
Yeah, I watched that because I wanted to see what Charlize
you watched the draw and you're a girl. What about that?
Oh, it's 1963, everyone, with Frank Skinner.
Oh, if only it was. God, I was handsome in 1963. Just got my first job in the Foreign Office. Frank, they said to me, you're quite a character. You bet it. I said, not a woodbine. God, we laughed. Yeah, it was... I enjoyed the World Cup draw in that it was rubbish.
Oh, I hated it.
Yeah,
why was it like some strange corporate?
Yeah, it was like being holiday bingo. Sort of Butlin's bingo with
Charlize kept saying, so, if I take a ball out of this pot, what does that mean?
Yeah, I know, I like that. And there was a bit... My favourite bit was they had Makaya Ntini, the South African bowler, was introduced. And Jonathan Pearce was trying to think of helpful commentary to say, and he said, the great South African fast bowler now, Ntini, bowls very wide on the crease. I thought you're really getting much too cricket detail there at the World Cup draw, Jonathan. Sure up about it.
I didn't see the draw, but I saw a lot of the run-up to the draw on Sky News.
Oh, you watched the run-up
Yeah.
to the draw? Are you one of these people who watches the run-up and thinks, oh, that'll do me?
Yeah, I lost interest. They talked a lot about the ball. You know how Sky News, it goes round and round and they keep doing the same things every so often?
Yes.
They talked about the ball a lot, because they've designed a special ball.
Yes.
Yeah.
The best thing about Sky News is the fact is there isn't 24 hours worth of news.
No.
There isn't. So you have to talk about everything till it's dead, dried out, horrible husk of news with nothing left at all. When there was a whale stuck on the Thames, do you remember that? There was a whale that was
Yes, I
trapped.
remember that.
And they were saying, right, well, we've got... they've been talking about the whale for about 3 hours. There wasn't that much to say. Like, oh, look how the water comes out of its back. You've said it then about a whale. They got this... They said we've got...
Doesn't look well.
He said that we've got Dave Willits on now, the Sky Sports angling expert. And they got him on to talk about the whale, and they showed you this thing up the river, and he said, oh, look, there's this... That platform's obviously on its way to help. That platform was a fixed platform, been there about 2 years. Anyway, that's it.
So,
it's not
Frank, is our World Cup group a good one?
Do you really want to know?
Yes, I do want to know.
Well, it's a good one if you like dull games.
Oh.
I would rather have had really, really difficult teams.
Well,
'Cause that's
early on,
what-
but then we might get knocked out.
No, you got to start, you got to kick... It's like this show. We started off, rocking and rolling. Or did we? Anyway, I am... there's a World Cup chart in the Times today, so I'm very excited about that.
Oh, you're going to fill it out?
Well, my best ever World Cup chart, I was in Dresden. Not for the bombings. Although I was with the Foreign Office at the time. I said, leave it to Bomber Harris. He knows what he's doing. And Bomber Harris, these parents showed great foresight. So and there was this street which was like a red light area, and it was just I don't know if you can say prostitutes this time of the morning. It was those kind of women, all sitting in the window, and they had flags of the various nations they came from. They'd World Cup themed the brothel. It was brilliant, and it looked like the best World Cup wall chart that's ever come out. You had to fill in a smiling prostitute for every country. Oh man, it made me so happy.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
When we was in Germany, obviously me and David Baddiel did the World Cup, and we had a spiffing time, but I got fat.
Did
I got
you?
proper
Really?
fat. Well, in Germany, they eat fat, basically. You go and they just eat red meat. That's all they eat, and it was.
You're quite a slight thing as well.
I am quite slight, and David was on one of his. He started off on one of his diets.
Oh.
Because Davey likes to diet.
Oh, he
Dave.
loves a diet.
Oh man, I went out with Dave once, and we went out for lunch, and he said, "I said, you want one of your?" He said, "I'm on the Atkins diet." I said, "Oh right, the Atkins is just protein.
You can't, no carbs.
Yeah, so we had so the lunch came along, and he said, "I'll have the chips," and then he ordered dessert after. I said, "It's an odd version of the Atkins diet." He said, "I don't go on it till 2:00 in the day." I don't think it works, does it? If you do that. My best thing once was I went round Dave's house and he said to me, do you want a chocolate? I said, I will have a chocolate, thank you very much. So he took an envelope, a padded envelope, out of a drawer.
They're like blackmail chocolates.
And took it. And I thought, they'd been sent by a mad fan and been injected with bromide or something. And I said, where did he said, oh no, he said, I've joined a chocolate club.
Oh, was he 9?
They send me a different kind of chocolate every week, different box of chocolates.
Chocolate club.
Oh, marvellous.
I love David's chocolate club.
So whether they'll be able to find us in South Africa, I don't know, the chocolate. I'm imagining a man on a scooter with the padded envelope on the back and some milk tray. Can I say milk tray? Do they still exist, milk tray?
No, oh, do they?
That's this morning's phone-in on 8:12:15. Looking forward to it. Do milk tray still exist? I want to see how many... That's not really the phone-in.
We've had a text in already on
Have we?
8:12:15, haven't we?
Yeah.
Gareth, would you like to do
Good
the
one,
honours?
yes. It says,
Don't squabble about who reads it out.
Dear Frank,
There'll be others. I'm, fingers crossed.
says, Dear Frank, I think I've figured out how to finally have a text read out on your show. 1, start with Dear Frank. 2, tell Emily she looks great and her voice sounds sexy. 3, tell Gareth his last gig was excellent. From Rohan in London, hoping to hear this on the podcast. Well, frankly, I don't think I get enough texts in telling me my last gig was excellent. But
No.
that would get
Why
read
is
out.
that? Why is that, do you think?
I don't know. It's a mystery.
Yeah. I think we get too many saying that Emily...
Yeah, we get a lot
Yeah.
of Emily. It might be because
I think we
the
don't get
people who-
nearly enough.
I feel that they come from the same people, that they all live in North London.
And they all use your email address.
How dare you?
Yeah, I wish they wouldn't do that. That's just ridiculous.
Absolute
Radio.
So, I tell you, so I'm quite excited. Rod Stewart's on ITV tonight.
Ah.
Yeah, he's on. And it's like a sort of a special ITV... You know those sort of special ITV things that aren't that good? It's one of those. And...
What do you mean? What is it? What, an evening with?
yeah, but it always feels like he's turned up at the church hall on it when I don't know what it is, but I like the coziness. I once went to an audience with Rod Stewart. Do you remember those audience with programmes?
Oh,
They
yeah.
still do them, I think they
I
do.
went to an audience with the Spice Girls. We've all been to one of those, love.
Oh, well, OK, yeah, but this was particularly good because when you go to those things, the whole thing was set up. You'd be in the green room having a drink before, and someone would come up and say, one of the producers would say, here's a question I'd like you to ask, blah, blah, you know. So it was all set up, they knew what questions was coming and all that, which is fine, you know, who cares. But Rod, apparently, he said, no, I don't need any, I'll busk it. Which is, I admired him for that, but obviously it was, you know...
Did he mean he was going to take a collection? Is that what he mean by busk?
Well, he said, and he also,
round.
what they used to put all the celebrities at the front for security, and then they'd put, you know... the
People like me at the back.
The ordinary people. Well, you'd have been probably a +1. But the people who just came on the other, they would be at the back. But Rod, man of the people, said, no. I want the celebrities at the back. I want the real people at the front. I thought, good on you, Rod. So anyway, he comes on stage and he says, I'll sort the question. Don't worry about that. So he does a couple of songs. Lovely. Says to the he said, anyone got any questions? Bloke puts his hand up and he says, yes, mate. I thought, this is brilliant. This is like, not many comics would dare do this. This bloke said, why don't you make good albums anymore like you did in the 70s? That's good. And Rod made some terrible thing about, you know, everyone's got different tastes and man, it was so awful. And then he went on and he didn't ask any more questions for about half an hour. He obviously once bitten. And then he thought, I'll go. I think he had the note from the producer, go to the celebrities. And of course, I don't know if you know this, but Rod is very nearsighted.
Is he?
Yeah. So, and of course he can't wear the glasses on stage. No matter how long the fringe, it's to the edge of the rim. And so he went random. He went completely random. He said, any questions from the celebrities? And somebody put their hand up. And Rod he sort of squinted and said, is that John Travolta? And a voice said, no, it's Bradley Walsh. I don't think I've ever seen such disappointment on the face of a major recording star.
They are quite low rent sometimes, those audience
What are you saying about Bradley
Well, no,
Walsh?
I'm just saying at the Spice Girls, there was Linda Bellingham and Lee Sharp, and that was your lot. Oh, you were there as well, sorry.
No, I wasn't at the Spice
weren't
Girls.
you?
I'd have been happy to have been at that one. I went up to all... there was a time I'd been to everything I was invited to, basically. It was just... They didn't bother inviting me. They just sent a car. They knew I'd go.
Have you been to an audience with, Gareth?
No, not one of those programmes. Yesterday we went to see Tori Amos, didn't we?
Is it Tori Amos or Tori Amos?
Tori Amos.
I don't know. Okay.
No idea. And so I was in an audience with you.
Right.
We were in an audience
doesn't
with...
count.
That doesn't count as an audience with Frank Skinner, though, does it?
Does it not?
No, it's not about being in an audience with Frank
right.
Skinner, is it?
She was good, though, wasn't she?
Oh... I can't tell you. I honestly, I didn't know anything about Tori Amos. I only went because my girlfriend's sister, Rachel, is mad about Tori Amos. And I thought, well, I'll go, you know. I mean, I can cope with anything. I took my iPod, just in case. Turned out, she blew me away. Who'd have thought that? She was absolutely brilliant.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
So I cried at Tori Amos, the last song she did.
you?
I did. I cried twice yesterday.
Why else did you cry? What was the other reason?
The other one was a bit... no, it wasn't. It was they showed highlights from the '90 World Cup on
that's really sweet,
and I
Frank.
cried. So I cried twice for very various reasons. A delicate love song from a woman with ginger hair, followed by some shots of sweaty Englishmen in Turin. Yeah. This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio with Emily and Gareth, and our guest Charlotte Hatherley will be in a little while.
Well, she's just come in,
She did
actually.
just come in. I wasn't going to tell them that. We had an incident. Yeah. We had
There was a social transgression, not a Tiger Woods transgression, a social one.
The security man from the front desk brought Charlotte in.
And Charlotte was all lovely, and she gave us a big,
No, she did look
warm
lovely.
smile.
But he was in a uniform, and I thought it was Foxy Noxy. It took a wrong turning. Yeah, but
he was escorting her.
he was, yeah. But anyway, she did look nice. I'm very optimistic now about the interview. Isn't it? How you judge people?
I like
that?
her already.
Yeah.
She had
But
good personal feng shui.
She had to be taken back out, though, because we weren't ready for her.
She had to be taken out. No, we weren't. Well, we weren't ready. I haven't prepared my detailed interview notes yet.
He was so
Just
keen.
talk amongst yourselves while I do that. Okay, so you two had an incident, didn't you?
Oh yeah,
You
we
haven't
had an
told me
incident,
about
all right.
this. What was the incident?
Well, following on from the endless text we get of people staring at Emily over the webcam,
Yes.
we were walking down a slightly dodgy street in Soho.
Were you? Can I ask why?
Well, we were on the way to get Emily's shoes sold.
Sold?
Sold.
Yeah.
Sold.
Oh,
resold.
Okay.
Not
Not
we weren't
sold.
selling
She's
Emily's
not out
shoe.
selling her
Things
shoe.
haven't got that bad yet.
Times are hard, and we've got to sell Emily's shoe. And we're walking down this past some dodgy shops, and there was an old man, and suddenly this street in London turned into Dickensian England.
London. Okay.
And this old man goes, "Ha ha ha! Lucky young man, lucky young man."
Yeah, you weren't doing that. You weren't doing that thing when you waved that lottery ticket when you walked down the street. Were you?
He was looming out of a strip joint, though, which I thought was a bit of a backhanded compliment.
Yeah.
Yes, but
And
that's
it
quite.
was, we were terrified. And then
Gareth put a really protective fatherly arm over me. It was really sweet.
Yes. Well, do you take it as a compliment? I don't like it when people say that. If you
What about you?
Well, if you go abroad, sometimes people say, "Oh, you are a very lucky young man if you're an attractive young woman," as if you have won in a tombola. And I resent it. I went clothes shopping with Emily after the show.
Oh, I
last
was
week.
spreading
What
myself
a social
very
life!
thin.
I don't want people to think we just turn up here and only meet in the studio. Oh no, we have a social web, don't we?
Yeah, we went clothes shopping to buy you a suit.
I had to buy myself a suit because I'm wearing a suit today. By the way, I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah, it looks fierce.
Yeah, it looks.
Fierce.
Yeah, and I think it's actually Ted Baker. And we went looking for. I was doing a TV show this week. I know it's hard to believe, but I was, and I had to get a suit for it. And actually, the reason I'm wearing a suit today, I'm going to tell you this, is yesterday I had quite baggy trousers on and a puffer jacket, and I looked in the mirror and I thought it looks like if somebody had kidnapped one of N-Dubs and kept them for 40 years and they had to wear the same clothes. I looked like it was the embarrassing sight of a greying-haired man in some sort of wacky
I'm glad you
hip-hop
finally
outfit.
realised.
You
Yes.
had a back to the drawing board moment.
I did.
So I've got to really rethink this.
Well, I was thinking, and I said to my girlfriend Kath for support. I needed support because it was a difficult, emotional moment. I said, "Do you think this outfit's a bit young for me?" She said, "Well, I think you should just wear suits."
Did she?
Yeah, she said, "You're at an age now where you should just wear suits." And I thought, you know, she's right. So
Yeah, but the suit you tried on last week wasn't quite right, and I told you in no uncertain terms.
It had too much material in the.
There were crotch issues.
There was enough crotch for me to. If I had a small kangaroo, which I don't, I could have carried it quite easily in that. I mean, that's what it was like. It made me look positively marsupial. I said to the guy, the trousers are a bit marsupial, aren't they? He said, we can take them in, but I wasn't convinced.
Absolute
Radio.
So, Charlotte Hatherley has joined us in the
Hello.
studio. What about that?
Woo!
Thanks, that was a good.
Sorry, Charlotte. That was very welcoming
We've
enough.
never quite worked
something
out,
there.
Charlotte. We've been doing this since March. We've never quite worked out how to welcome the guests in the right way, because we don't want to whoop.
Whoops, no.
You must do a lot of radio shows. What's the normal greeting?
Just straight in.
Really?
Straight in, Frank.
No applause?
No.
Is that why
No
the
fanfare.
security guard
But there's
brought you
croissants
straight in?
here.
Yeah,
You don't
There's
normally get
croissants and
escorted
fruit
in.
and coffee, so it's all good.
yeah, were you all right with that? We've been worried the security man brought you upstairs. That's never happened before.
I know.
We
Maybe
thought-
I'd upset him.
Did someone
Somewhere.
go off in the foyer?
I don't know. He didn't talk to me. He was being very rude.
So was there... Well, we can sort this out, I think.
I think
Let's
you
sort it
should.
out on air. Get him up here now. We'll have a trial. We'll have a mock kangaroo court. I'll just see what I've got in the crotch of my trousers. There'll be one down there. So, look, we love your album, Charlotte.
Well, thanks very much.
And we're so relieved that we did. Otherwise, we have to lie, obviously, to the guests.
Yeah.
But we really genuinely liked. It's called New Worlds.
It is, yeah.
And let's get out of the way. It's out now, isn't it?
Yeah, it was out a few weeks ago. Yeah.
So I would very much recommend you go and buy it, you people out there. So most people, I guess, do they know you from Ash? Is that what the
Yeah, mostly, but this year I've been on tour with Batflashes for like 8 months. I've been playing guitar and bass with her. So it's starting to wane, the Ash
Right.
connection, but yeah, mostly.
Is it a thing that, I mean, you know, people don't like talking about their past things. You always say, oh, that's all behind me now.
Yeah.
I've risen from Ash.
You don't stop
Phoenix
going on
life.
about 3 lines, though.
Well, what can I do? It's not about me, it's about Charlotte. Shut up.
But it was only 4 years ago, that's the thing. I only left Ash when I was 26, 27.
Right.
And I'm just 30. So, you know, it doesn't feel like I've had a massive amount of distance from it. It's still quite relevant. And
I was very excited to see that you'd worked with Brian Ferry.
yeah.
Mainly because I like to do an impression, and I thought this could give me a...
Okay.
Every now and again, go... It must be like that, yeah.
It's almost like Vic Reeves on Shooting Stars. He did a fantastic Brian Ferry.
Did he? Well, now what you've done, you see, you've made what I consider to be an unfavourable comparison.
No, I don't think so. It's very favourable.
We haven't got onto the fact your mum was in Carry On films. So you can guess what's coming there.
That's the gold is coming up.
So you're touring, or are you about to tour?
I've just finished. I've just...
we can't plug that then.
Well, I'll be touring next year, but I've just been on tour all year long, so I've only just got back, and I'm just a bit shell-shocked.
Do you like it?
Yeah, I mean...
Do you like all the hotels and travel and all that stuff?
There's something quite special about touring. It's a sort of unique experience, and it's weird, I found with Ash, especially because you're touring with a bunch of people that you don't necessarily hang out with when you sort of go back home, and you meet up at airports and you go off for like adventures, and then you have a bit of a break and you don't speak to each other at all, but you share all these sort of quite intimate,
I imagine
weird experiences.
You'd be like the famous five, you'd sort of be all hanging around together all the time with a small dog.
Because it's so full on, you're just in each other's faces all the time, and especially with Ash, I was the only girl with like 10 blokes.
I suppose that is
Oh, that's my dream.
yeah.
Lucky you.
I bet that makes it a bit that they're sort of watching Bruce Willis videos in the tour bus and
Star Wars and Lord of the Rings, and
you're playing with My Little Pony at the back.
That's right.
For those of you who phoning in with euphemisms, that wasn't one.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.
This is the Frank Skinner Show on Absolute Radio, and Charlotte Hatherley is our guest this morning.
Yes.
She's still here. She hasn't walked, in case you're wondering. Now, Charlotte, I briefly touched upon the point that your mother was in Carry On movies. That must have been... so, were you tiny then?
Yeah, I don't remember her filming them. I think I was too young for that, but I grew up on Carry On films. We'd just watch it all the time.
Yeah.
I was obsessed with them. And she was in 4 or 5.
You're obsessed because she was in them?
Not so much that. I just thought they were the funniest things ever. And then as you get older, you sort of realise that they're quite filthy.
Yeah.
But when you watch it as a kid, it's all very innocent and kind of weird. It's quite a surreal world.
Did you ever answer the phone and hear... Did that ever happen?
No.
So they didn't come round your house and stuff?
No. I sat on Charles Hawtrey's knee. Sadly, as a child.
That's
I did as
amazing.
well. But that was much later. You had to get on in showbiz any way you can, I found.
Yeah.
You sat on Charles Hawtrey's knees. Is there a photograph of
Pretty
that?
cool. No.
Oh, that would have been such an
know.
album sleeve, Charlotte.
I know. And, Mum, she went for the Pauline Fowler role of EastEnders, and she lost out to...
Oh, she auditioned for it.
She could have been Pauline Fowler. And, she's been in loads of stuff. She went to RADA, and so she's quite... well, theatre trained and a bit of a lovey.
Yeah.
So she sort of, when I was growing up, she hated talking about carry-ons because she kind of thought they were a bit beneath her.
Yeah.
But now, she absolutely loves it. And she was in Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz. She was a zombie.
Oh, so she's...
I love that.
So she's still at it?
Yeah, no,
Oh,
she's
well,
she's
will she be listening?
cool.
Is she the sort of mum who listens if you're on the radio?
She will not be listening to this, no.
Okay, well, to hell with her then. Here we are, plugging
bit
her
too early
career
for
like there's
Mum.
no tomorrow. The way this show's going, there won't be. Hey! Hey, Dave! Yes! That was a fictional person. So did you not consider acting then as a career? There must have been, because you'd have had all the contacts.
No, not at all. No, I hated it. I was too shy, I think, as a kid. I hated drama. My dad's a writer, but me and my 2 sisters were all musicians.
It's a fabulously creative family,
Yeah, it
though.
is, isn't it? It's nice.
How many are you? How many siblings?
There's three ladies.
And you're all musical?
Yeah.
Now, would you be one of those? Because I went and saw
Like the Cause.
Rufus Wainwright, and they all he's like his auntie, he's a folk singer, and his dad and his sister, and there was about 9 of them on stage, all related, and they said this is basically what we do at Christmas. We all sit around and play, and I thought, oh, that'd be lovely. Would you do that?
Yeah, no, I think that would be awful. No, I think with sisters, I think we'd drive each other crazy. We'd kill each other. I think.
Don't you get around the piano at Christmas and stuff?
No.
Oh.
Not really. My big sister's moved to Sydney now, so...
Well, that makes it
Yeah,
difficult. You could Skype.
I could do it on Skype.
You could Skype, yeah. Have the Skype.
Frank's
Conference
family all
Skype.
get round and play the Fall, don't you? Which is very musical.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, it's fabulous. My dad going, oh, Merry Christmas, all!
Absolute
Radio.
We did have a text for Charlotte, though, didn't we?
Yes, we did. Frank, can you ask Charlotte if she did anything with Andy Partridge, Earl from Slough?
Wait, that sounds euphemistic.
You sound miles away now, suddenly, to me. How weird. Something weird has happened.
Did you do anything with
Hello.
I did.
Andy Partridge?
I wrote a song with Andy Partridge.
Oh,
he's
phew.
a hero of mine. XTC is one of my favourite
Yes, I
bands.
remember.
And for my last record, we co-wrote loads of songs, but one of them ended up on a record. Very nice man he is, from Swindon. I went to his little shed in his garden.
Now, I'm a man in his garden. Did he have a pear tree?
He did.
Did he?
He had loads.
You will see, that's the photo opportunity you want, is it? Andy Partridge in a pear tree. Who'd be able to resist that? How Christmassy.
Nearly as Christmassy as the Fall.
Yes. No, the fall is autumn, surely. You've got
God.
completely mixed up.
And, well, last week we did a similarity between me and the guest. Do you remember that?
Yes,
It was,
John Richardson was on. And what was the similarity,
Well,
Gareth? The
I'm-
striking and remarkable similarity.
My name's Gareth Richards, but my dad's called John Richards, so I'm John Richards' son.
You can imagine
He's
how
very
that went
clever.
down.
Yeah, so
John Richardson couldn't breathe. He was so appalled by them. It
And
was a bit...
Gareth's claimed that he's got something in common with Charlotte. He's been saying all
This is
morning.
very
Yes.
exciting.
is
You
it?
were born in 1979, and I was also born in 1979.
Oh, it
So
is,
we're the
it is
same
a
age.
small world. I imagine Arthur C.
Jesus.
Clarke will be on the phone at any time saying, can I do a documentary about that?
I think there's a glitch in the Matrix.
Yes.
One of those strange moments where it seems like the whole universe is connected.
And as they say in Charlotte's house, "Whoa, Matrix." So, so that is... now, what was that thing your mom... I want to hear about your mom now, because, as I can say, all the best stories happen off here. Your mom hoovering. Was it
Yeah.
your mum, or was it your girlfriend?
My mum,
mostly?
well, Laura, my wife was watching my mum hoovering, and my mum hoovered over a cotton reel. And
Deliberately?
no, by mistake. But it started. The thread started going up, and then the cotton reel, the whole thing was unravelling into the thing that spins round in the Hoover. That was.
Well, I haven't seen one for many years. I've heard the cleaner with one,
heard
but I've
that.
never looked.
Well, it was reeling up the whole cotton reel, and the cotton reel was dancing around. So, and Mum was transfixed by it.
Why
so,
didn't she switch it off? or
Well,
something?
she got transfixed by it, so she just let the whole thing go up.
Is your mum a kitten?
She's many things, but not a kid.
So, but... Oh, go on.
And so, she let the whole thing go up just because she was transfixed by it. And Laura said, "Why did you do that?" And I said, it was dancing around so amazingly. And then she had to take the Hoover apart and unravel it back onto the spool. And Laura said, "Well, just cut it off." And she goes, "I can't do that. I want the cotton."
She kept the cotton as
She
well.
kept the cotton. So
She's I'm liking the sound of your mum. She sounds like an eccentric character.
interesting Have you ever done... So that was something she did for the curiosity. She just let the whole thing go just because she wanted to see what it would look. Have you ever done anything like that?
I killed a cat once for that very same reason, just for curiosity. Have I ever? My mum used to say, I wish she'd done this now, because sadly she's dead, my mum. But she all through her life, she said she'd looked at the back of television sets. You know, they used to have like that, the back on them with like the grid before the plasma, and she used to really dream of pouring a kettle of boiling hot water down the back while the telly was on. And obviously it would have been extremely dangerous and expensive. But I wish now, you see, it makes you think, isn't it? It's worth doing those things. So if there's anyone at home thinking of doing something really dangerous... No, actually, I'll take that back. So I think we now come to the end of the show. Charlotte, do you have a final word for us?
No.
Okay, well, that'll do. That's a final word. I've stuck with it for years. And go and buy Charlotte's album, which is called New Worlds, because we're not just saying it because she's here. It is actually...
It's really good.
It is rather splendid. And that's about all from us. So, good day to you.
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Absolute Radio.